Hello. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm having to use the onboard audio on my laptop, so turn up that volume. It might be a problem. This is week 2, and you guys are off to a great start. I've been looking at introductory PowerPoints. They've been great. I won't grade any until after our due date has passed, so that I can give you a chance to make discussion posts with other people. That's so important for you guys to get to know each other, because in an online class, we don't have the supportive structure that we do with a seated class. Now for week 2, I'm going to look at our modules. Week 2 is probably one of the most challenging weeks we'll have all semester. So hang in there. This one is a little bit rough, and it's going to be okay. Let me go into student view. So with week 1, you had quite a few activities without a doubt, and you had to get all sorts of things set up and going, and you guys have just done a great job. So week 2 is also going to be a little challenging because we have activities for objectives 7 and 8. We're going to start with a discussion again. Worldly words, you could start on that already if you like. You're going to have a SAM project for the first time, so please don't put this off until the end of the week, because you could have trouble getting SAM set up, getting things to work. So please watch some videos and see how all of that works so that you don't get frustrated. There's a very specific sequence of events you have to use to be successful with the SAM projects, and I would like for you to be successful. We have an assignment to collaborate on some of our TED videos. This is going to be a group assignment, and some of your groups have changed. We've had a drop, so I will have to find that person and rearrange that group. I'll be sending an email to the affected people, so if you're not receiving that email, your group is good to go and continue using it. This is going to be a big week for using this study group or this small group team. We won't do that again until towards the end of our semester. We have another assignment, and this is in our problem-solving book. We're going to go to the objective IC2, okay, involving many different pieces, and work on this challenge. There will be more instructions in the assignment. Then for our last few objectives, we have a couple of more activities, a survival scenario, ranking these items. The survival scenario involves a plane crash where you have certain items available to you, and you need to rank those items as to how important they are to your survival. So these assignments go together. This is the scenario, and this is the actual assignment where you're going to rank the items. Again, you should work with your partner to come up with a good ranking, because they might think of something that you hadn't. Lastly, we have our Excel projects, the first Excel project that's in our projects book, and you can always refer to SAM, to those available anytime assignments if you need some help with Excel. So like I said, a little bit challenging, but each of those activities should not be very timely, so not too time consuming. I'm going to go ahead and grab the week 1 PowerPoint. They're the same. If there's ever a problem where we cross over PowerPoint presentations, please let me know so that I can get that PowerPoint to you. I know that not all the modules are available, so we might not be seeing everything. This last section, though, our last objectives for part 1, have to deal with simplifying complex problems. See if I can find it. There we are. Slide 16 is simplifying complex problems, and this is the beginning of Objective 6. I apologize. So, when I'm looking at a complex problem, sometimes it can be hard to see the forest for the trees because we don't know what things are important. These problems have no boundaries. They can be unique to the situation. We just don't know what the right answer is. Usually we have a lot of people involved and many sub-problems involved in a larger problem. So to simplify, we want to step back and identify the major symptoms, consider each problem individually, rank the sub-problems, look for interdependencies, and delegate sub-problems. One item they mention in our textbook is the Tylenol scare back a long time ago. And Tylenol, there were some Tylenol poisonings, and there were some things involved in Tylenol that caused some trouble. So as they mentioned in the textbook, Tylenol had to resolve this issue without losing business. So it was a very big deal. So they had to be aware that they couldn't just, take a simple, oh, we're so sorry approach. They had to really investigate the solution. Now, when we're working with risk-taking like this, we want to be aware that everything involves risk, any solution we make. Risk is just inevitable, but we want to make sure we avoid risks or reduce their possibility of making a problem for us. We want to be aware of these risks, know what they are. Tylenol had the risk of losing their company because it was a really big problem. We have to assess our risk-reward ratio. In some cases, the reward may not be as obvious as it is with the Tylenol issue. Maybe your company is discussing setting up disaster recovery procedures, and it's going to cost a lot of money. So it's a really big investment. And how big is that risk? How often would the company encounter a disaster that caused those disaster recovery procedures to be used? We have to always be assessing those kinds of things. We want to test whenever we can and develop a fallback plan. We got to have a plan B. And more than anything, we want to communicate. We want to avoid some common traps. Be logical, but yet be creative. Be willing to redefine your goals and be willing to accept solutions that manage rather than eliminate the problems. Make sure you're not looking at your biases that are part of your personality because these could impair your problem-solving ability. One area that I'd like to bring up to you is a problem that happens to a lot of students. I've had a lot of emails over the years saying, I can't make it to class, my car is broken down. Well, I understand having car problems. But you, as a logical thinker, could you think of any solutions to this problem with a less cost? The cost of missing class can be quite large. So maybe we could think of a way that we can make it to class without a car. This is going to require some creative thinking. We'd have to think of things that we haven't thought of before, but hopefully it'll be worth it. Now, to avoid these traps again, don't only be looking for things that have a completely positive outcome. Sometimes we have to have a lesser of two evils. Avoid the not invented here. I used to work for a company that only gave people 2 weeks vacation. And everybody would say, we can't hire new people. They don't even get 2 weeks vacation until they've been here 5 years. Why can't we give people 2 weeks vacation at the very beginning? And the people would say, well, I lived through it. It must be good enough for them. That's the not invented here theory. It doesn't work very well. We also want to avoid that hurry up attitude. And the bandwagon effect. What's the bandwagon effect? That's where everybody's jumping on the bandwagon in agreement, even though they don't really agree, just because they think it's the right thing to do. So that can really get us in a lot of trouble. And again, we want to always be thinking about the best solution, even if it's not the best solution for us. It doesn't resolve in our promotion. And here's the herd effect. This is cute. The bandwagon is like this. This whole herd is standing around this circle. And, we don't know what they're doing. They have their own herd thing going on. But we've got to be careful to avoid that herd effect. Now, nextly, when we're looking at our next objective, we're talking about crowdsourcing. What's crowdsourcing? Crowdsourcing is where we use a group to solve our problem. Maybe we send a survey. Maybe we do something else to ask the crowd, what do you think we should do? Usually these groups are online communities, and we're going to take this community and broadcast them a problem and ask them for a solution. The crowd, we're going to let them submit solutions. We're going to sort through them, and we're going to get some great ideas and try to use the best one. Advantages of crowdsourcing to a company are that it can investigate problems at a low cost, and it can produce a wider solution set. Really great. It risks the company, though, is it might waste a bunch of time. There might not be a solution that comes from that crowd, and it could take a lot of effort to do that crowdsourcing, so it's always a risk. Successful examples include proofreading, StumbleUpon, Stardust at Home, things that allow us to benefit from the crowd. We've seen some other group funding that are the same type of things. The guidelines are the more the better. We get strength in numbers, and collaboration matters. We want everybody to be talking to each other about these possible solutions. So we want people to come up with different ideas. We don't want them to be searching for that better idea. Their different idea may actually be better and they don't realize it. Crowdsourcing can be good for the company, maybe not so much good for the crowd. They don't really get a lot of benefit from this, do they? Here's one, challenge.gov. They have a video challenge out here for us, and you can look now and see what's out there. So, Part 1, Unit 1, in a summary. We want to keep problem-solving guidelines in mind. Sometimes when we're faced with a problem, whether it's personal or at work, it can just seem overwhelming. But we have the resources to solve that problem, or at least make things better. We want to analyze the problem as the first step in solving them. Again, we want to step back a little bit and say, what is this exact problem? Is this exact problem because I don't have enough money? Or is it because I'm spending my money improperly? We can always analyze those kinds of things. We want to try to involve our problem owners and the problem stakeholders in our process so that we'll be more successful. And we'd like to have an effective problem statement. This is going to pull people in and help them with determining what our problem is. We're going to reach way back and do that root cause analysis. Simplify, simplify, simplify. We're going to manage risk when we can and avoid all of those traps. And then that'll get us started on the first steps of becoming a good problem solver. Now, please let me know if you have any issues with this week's module. Get started as soon as you can, because we do have a lot of small things to do, so each of those will be time consuming. And thanks so much for your great work this first week. We're off to a great start. Thanks.